That nigga just did 87 cities and he talking to y'all like that.
I don't think the Heart Part 6 is, but I agree
The
that
Heart Part 6, no. Y'all, trust me when I tell you, that is a very special diss record.
Okay.
That record is going to age very well.
So is there a disconnect? Because Maul even tweeted, like, from Joe Budden, not formerly Joe Budden, Rory and Maul. He said Tommy the Clown got more time than Tyler the Creator. Like, why do you think that's important for Tommy the Clown to get more time maybe than
That's
Tyler?
not for him to understand.
Tyler.
He wouldn't understand because he's not of it. That's not the same thing as, well, he had a longer set time. I don't know how that even it matters, in my opinion.
Rory and Maul. Their fans seem to be turning on them ever since they took sides against Kendrick Lamar in the rap battle of the century. From the inception of the battle, they pretty clearly indicated that they thought Drake would soundly defeat K-Dot. However, after a well-strategized effort by the Kendrick machine and some missteps by Drake, the court of public opinion would decide heavily against him and his supporters. Still, the Kendrick battle had larger ramifications for the industry of content creation, especially in hip-hop media. It quickly became clear that all podcasters and creators had a horse in the race from the start of the battle. Even folks like Joe Budden could not put his bias against Drake aside and willfully participated in the elimination of Drake, as evidenced by this comment.
I don't think any one man takes down Drake. I think that was a baton. I think I passed the baton to Push. I think Push passed the baton to Kendrick, and the job is done now. That's how I feel in my head and my heart.
Nonetheless, the greatest case of bias from the Rory and Maul podcast came from Maul. From the start of the battle, he took Drake's side and no one could tell him any different. It was obvious he was compromised. Maul didn't just admire Drake's music, he appeared to actually be Drake's friend. No matter what happened, Maul would be unwavering in his opinion that Drake won, even after a series of missteps by Drake. I'm talking about things like not having a response ready for Meet the Grams, sounding defeated on the Heart Part 6, and spending too much time on family matters dissing the side characters in the battle. While Drake reached some of the highest levels of rapping in his career, for the first time, Drake was losing as far as the optics, and unlike Pusha T, Kendrick had a machine behind him, along with several fan bases Drake had angered, who couldn't wait to see him humble. Now, the Rory and Maul podcast is facing an uphill battle, as fans of the show rebel and are increasingly angered by their inability to remain neutral. A casual look at their Reddit would reveal that fans are not entirely too happy with their coverage of the battle. So much so that many fans are saying the show is dying and falling off. However, is this the case? Or is this just a reflection of fanboy culture that more and more mirrors the toxic political discourse of Democrats versus Republicans? One look at Rory and Maul's numbers, and it appears they're more popular than they've ever been. Their views have skyrocketed as a result of the Kendrick and Drake battle. They currently sit at number 3 on Apple Music's podcast charts and number 20 on Spotify. It's also important to remember that many thought the show would break up after their Sirius licensing deal. Still, they somehow managed to get a new deal in the dry podcast market of today with Studio 71. As they gear up for one more tour, I can't help but think that they are doing better than most podcasts not named the Joe Budden Podcast. Yes, their shows nowhere near as big as Drink Champs or $1 Million Worth of Game, but they are not guest reliant, have control of their IP, and didn't sell their souls for ads like Gilly and Waddle.
So what's next for y'all? Y'all got Act Normal.
Welcome to another episode of $1 Million Worth of Game Business Spotlight, where we give you the game that you need to get you up off that couch. But this guy right here, proof of concept, he did this thing, will change lives. One thing.
However, it remains to be seen if Rory and Maul can gain traction without the Drake vs. Kendrick stimulus package all creators got. But let me know what you think. Is the current Rory and Maul backlash just a case of the vocal minority? Or is the show indeed headed for another fall off? I largely think Rory and Maul have been killing it. Their show has been a fun listen and offers a sharp contrast to the inorganic nature that the Joe Budden podcast is embracing. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say Rory and Maul are nowhere near as big as Joe. That is true. But it has been cool to see them establish their own footing and style of podcasting. They've established a model that many others might look to emulate, one that doesn't prioritize controversial moments, and also a less egocentric approach to content creation. Alright y'all, let me know what you think about what I laid out. I largely made this video because it looks like the Redditors, the people who run the new Rory and Maul subreddit, are getting overwhelmed with constant discourse about how the show sucks ever since Rory and Maul seem to indicate favoring Drake more. And while I think that is the case, I still think the show is bigger than it's ever been. But I don't know if they'll continue this run, as a lot of content creators are struggling to put together something that is interesting in the light of the Drake versus Kendrick battle dying down. Please remember to follow me on Instagram. Please remember to follow me on Twitter. Both of my @s are the Stop TV. Tap in with me, y'all. This is Danny from the Stop. Peace.